Hey, everybody. Are you looking for an increase, or are you thinking that you deserve or need an increase to your VA disability benefits? Let's talk about some of the key takeaways when you go to apply for all these. Stand by. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to talk about what the process is you have to go through in order to get an increase if you feel like you deserved more on your VA disability rating, or if things have medically gotten worse. So I've been through this process multiple times, and I've been very successful with it, but it takes a certain amount of data, quite honestly. And there's some key considerations that you have to think about when you go to do or file for an increase in your VA disability rating. All right, before we jump into this, please like, share, subscribe. Watch this video all the way through, or just let it run all the way through. All those things help me get the word out to more veterans, and maybe to a veteran that really, really needs to hear this. So, all right, with that, let's jump right in. The number one key consideration and key reason that people think they need an increase in their VA disability rating is that their conditions have gotten worse. If your conditions have gotten worse and it's documented, hey, I used to have sinusitis and it would affect me, being able to breathe, play sports, I would be limited. Now I can't even go outside. My sinusitis has me clearing my throat all the time. I have sinusitis. I have to clear my throat all the time. Or, hey, I had a vision claim and I was at 40%, and then my vision's gotten worse and worse and worse, and now I require a cane, et cetera, et cetera. There are things where your conditions get worse: back pain, PTSD, depression. There's all kinds of things that can get worse and worse as you go along. So, if your conditions have worsened, as in there is a material change in your circumstances, remember, this is not just about, hey, the doctor said my vision is worse, I deserve a bigger claim. It's not that simple. Part of it is, quite honestly, not necessarily that, your vision is worse, but how does it affect your day-to-day life? All right. Sorry, it's early morning. So you need to make sure that you have material evidence. And what does that mean? That means updated medical records, evidence, medical evidence. And you need to make sure that this has all of your updated records that you have ready to roll. Make sure they clearly state that your condition has gotten worse, that it has changed, that it has progressively made things harder for you to live your day-to-day life. Very much a key. Okay, so another consideration is, and I say this because I say this a lot, you have to understand the way that the VA rates whatever condition that you are claiming. For example, if you have a 30% PTSD, but you think that it's 50%, or you think that it's 70%, you need to understand the criteria for going from 30% to 50 or 70 to really see, hey, do I really qualify for those? And am I interpreting this correctly? The way you can do that is look at the ratings, VASRD, the rating schedule for disabilities. That is, one of the links that I have in my link tree on the main page of my YouTube channel. So please take a look at that. Make sure that you understand thoroughly what your VA ratings differences are between different levels. And in all honesty, if you're getting a 10%, great. If you're getting a 30 or 40%, you absolutely must go for it. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row. 10% is not that big of a deal unless you need that last 10% to get to 100. All right, couple more things. There's still, there's still a nexus that is required. You still need to demonstrate that this getting worse is still connected to your service-connected disability. I'm not saying you need to reprove that you have hearing loss due to, working with artillery or working on a flight line or, working in a manufacturing shop or in a steam shop or whatever. You don't have to prove that you have hearing loss from that. You still need to prove that, has it gotten worse 20 years after you got out? You need to be very careful with your wording. This has gotten progressively worse since I got out of the military, and it's really sped up and started to get extremely worse in recent years. That connects it back. That creates that nexus, right? So make sure you realize you still need to prove that the nexus of the worsening of your condition still applies to your service-connected disability. All right. Understand that the CMP exam that you go to is crucial. When you know what it takes to get rated to the 50, 70, whatever level that you're looking to get your increase to, you need to be prepared for the CMP exam, because they're going to ask you the same questions they asked in the first time. When you first got that disability for hearing loss, they're going to make you go through a hearing test. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to do other stuff. You need to be prepared for that. When you have PTSD, if you go in and you were at 30% and you're trying to say you're really at 70, they're going to ask you specific questions related to the specific rating criteria for 70%, which includes X, 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 and X, right? 50% includes 3 of those 4 X's. 30% includes 2 of them. Do you have 3 or 4? And if you can prove it with medical documentation and how it affects your life, you're in great shape. All right, so be prepared for that CMP exam. Be honest in your submissions. The last thing you need to do is go in and, file for something just because you want it. Just because you want it doesn't mean that you're entitled to it, okay? I know that goes against the grain of, hey, stick it to the VA, but I'm not looking to stick it to the VA. I'm looking to get compensated appropriately for the disabilities that I sustained or were worsened by my service to the United States. So be careful of that. Lastly, and this is a big one, really, really big one. So pay attention. You risk getting a reduction when you go in for an increase. Let me say that again. You risk getting a reduction. If you are trying to be smooth, or even if you're not trying to be smooth and you somehow jack up the entire process of how you filed it, what you put down there, how you prove that it's gotten worse, the nexus back to the service connection, the CMP exam, if you jack that all up, you could get a decrease, a rating reduction. Nobody wants that. Listen, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you the facts. You can be reduced. You can go in and say, hey, I really deserve 70%. And they go, where are you at now? 50. Well, in my CMP exam, really, you're at 30, and they may drop you to 30. It may work against you. So make sure your documentation is clear. Make sure your CMP examination readiness is there. Make sure you have all of this down and you're ready to roll. And one last thing, just a bonus here. If you're uncomfortable with understanding what it really takes, go find a professional to help you with it. Go find a VSO to help you with it. Go find a quality. Let me restate that. Go find a quality VSO to help you with it. Go find somebody who's been through it. Look through some of these videos from a handful of people on YouTube who have really been through this and understand the ins and outs. And we want you to succeed, but you need to know what you're facing. So there you have it. This is all about, getting an increase for your service-connected disability. And hopefully these tips will help you out. Please leave me some comments and take care of each other.